All right, fellas, before we get to the first topic of the day, of course, it is Super Bowl week, and happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a dub, 2, or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel will allow you to bet on who will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers, if you join today, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. All that needs to happen is your first $5 a bet or more needs to win. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/UCSS.
I'm giving Earl a B+ for that read.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good read. He doesn't have the experience doing them that you do.
$200, you said.
Pretty good, but I could see there's room to grow there, Earl.
Yeah, for sure, man. The B+, I got to get that up to an A.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
He's got 3 more tries today, so by the end of the show, we'll have an A+.
I think I'm going to sign my wife up for a profile without her knowing.
I tried to sign my daughter up, but that's a whole other story.
Do they ask for the social or anything?
No.
Oh, yeah. All you need is email?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'm rolling.
You're
Hey,
in.
Cavs, put a little action on the Cavs. Hey, babe, you didn't unlock my account. I've been asking for 3 weeks.
That's right.
Now I got a new account. You didn't even know it.
Speaking of the Cavs, man, they play the Washington Wizards tonight in Washington, but Jarrett Allen got robbed twice. Like a couple guys got hurt.
Yeah.
Replacements was named, and he was not one of them.
That's true. We talked last week, guys, about should Jarrett Allen be on the All-Star game, and you were on top of it, Mike, and you said he's playing at an All-Star level, but he's not going to get in. Mm-hmm. But we all thought there was a chance he'd get in eventually with injury replacements. I mean, it's not quite the NFL where half the guys don't show up. Yeah. But still, there were 2 replacements, including a center, because Joel Embiid. Do we know if Joel Embiid is out for the year? Has that been confirmed?
He's going to be reevaluated in 8 weeks. So not necessarily for the season, but
he's a big dude.
Out for a while.
Yeah, but they did not take a center when they took 2 new guys.
No. So I didn't think Allen was snubbed the first time around, because to snub someone means someone less deserving made it over you. So I didn't think it was a snub. I do think the injury replacements, though, Jarrett Allen got snubbed. And I have no issue with Trae Young, but I do have an issue with Scottie Barnes. There are 3 players in the league right now, today, averaging 15 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, shooting 60% from the floor. Giannis, Sabonis, and Jarrett Allen. And when you look at the pure numbers without context, sure, Scottie Barnes scores more points, fewer rebounds. He's a better 3-point shooter. Defensively, they're both quite good. But what Allen does is contributing to winning. Scottie Barnes is on a team that is 5 games out of the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference.
That is weird.
When
is
they
that a coach's decision?
It is a coach's decision.
Yeah.
And here's why they've decided on Scottie Barnes. It's an All-Star game. It's an exhibition for fans. Scottie Barnes is a more exciting player to watch out in the open court than Jarrett Allen. However, that's not what you should pick and should base your All-Star replacements on.
Yeah.
And Jarrett Allen, once again, he's the 2nd most valuable player on the Cavs in the last 6 weeks. After Darius and Evan Mobley went down, Jarrett Allen has stepped his game up. On the flip side, Toronto traded Pascal Siakam to Indiana midway through January. Before he was traded, Barnes was their number 2 option, was averaging about 22 points a game. Since he's become the number 1 option, that's dropped down to 18.5. So when you look at...
So he's not rising.
He's not rising to the occasion like Jarrett Allen has. And once again, one team has 32 wins, the Cavs. One team has 17 wins, the Raptors. There has to be some sort of context. Anyone could put up good numbers on a bad team. Allen's doing it, and everything he does contributes to winning. Barnes is putting up good numbers, but they're 17 and 33 completely out of the playoff picture. I do think Allen was more deserving than Scottie Barnes.
Go ahead, G.
No, I can't go. I love the way Jarrett Allen has been playing. But look, man, this is All-Star games are like beauty pageants, man. Like they're gonna go, you got nice answers from Miss Congeniality. You give a nice, but at the end of the day, it's all about the swimsuit round.
That's true.
Like let's just be clear about that, right? And so when you look at the numbers, Barnes averages more points. He almost averaged. He's basically averaging 28 and 6 and a block and a half, right? So Jarrett Allen's best asset is playing defense. He only get 1.1 blocks. If you just look at those stats on face value, Barnes wins. Second of all, Barnes plays in a very large metropolitan city, Toronto. They're like, oh, we want people to watch. Or we're gonna give this last spot to the Jarrett Allen, who gets rebounds and is a guy who's a scrap guy. He's a good scrap guy. I love him. We all need our garbage picked up. We love our garbage guys, man. He gets paid well. But Scottie Barnes is a higher pick. He has more. What I would say splash availability. And in an All-Star game, they just want somebody to run up and down the court and dunk and do.
They
cool
don't play
things.
any defense.
They don't play no defense. He just looks better if you got Barnes over Allen. I see why.
It's funny. I feel like you both made convincing arguments. I was with you, and then kind of G talked me into Scottie Barnes there. Now, I will say, I don't know if Toronto is a big market, but because it's not America, I don't know that it matters as much that it's a big market. And it's not like Toronto's a popular team.
No.
It's not like it's not New York, Chicago, and L.A.
We are the North, as they're saying.
Yeah. I mean, where is the All-Star game? I don't even know.
Indiana. It's the Pacers.
So, I mean, I listen, Scottie Barnes is probably a better player than Jarrett Allen, right?
Yes.
Jarrett Allen, if this was about who's more valuable, it's Jarrett Allen.
Or all NBA. Like, if it's all NBA, I expect you to be in the nitty-gritty plus minuses and all that other stuff.
Right.
If it's just all-star, I'm like, oh, okay.
But, like, when you look at their just points per game, like, Scottie Barnes is taking 16 shots per game and scoring 21 points. Jarrett Allen's taking 9.5 shots a game.
Yeah, he's much
16.
more efficient.
So he's way more efficient. If he was taking 6 more shots at his current efficiency, in theory, he'd be averaging more points than Barnes. They're two completely different players.
Jaylen Brunson got hurt last night. I don't know if I know you hadn't seen it.
I didn't see it.
I was stunned that I broke news to you about the NBA. So Jaylen Brunson got hurt last night. Who were they playing, the Knicks? I can't remember. I think it was a bad team.
I'm looking it up right now.
Tell me who they were playing, because the Knicks were up like 20-something points in the fourth quarter. And then whoever they were playing made a big comeback, and Thibodeau brought his starters back in.
Memphis.
So they're playing Memphis.
And the initial reports on Brunson, he avoided major injury.
Okay, but the All-Star game is right around the
does not
corner,
mean
right?
he will not necessarily. Yeah, it's next weekend.
Right, so he might not be able to play.
Yeah.
So, but they had to bring their starters back in because Memphis came back, and then almost immediately Brunson got. Sometimes you shut it down, right?
Yeah.
And then
it's hard to ramp it back up.
Right, and Brunson got hurt. Now, hopefully he's all right. But he might not be able to play in the All-Star game. You wonder if Jarrett Allen's next man up. Who is the argument? Like, if they add one more guy, who else is there?
Top of my head, I don't know. Maybe if they a guard, because you lose a guard, get a guard. I'm not sure if they had to do it like that. I don't know. I have to look more into it. One
other thing I want to talk about, because I haven't been here the last couple of days, and I just Cavs in general. So for the whole season I've been saying, who cares about the regular season, who cares about the regular. And in reality, that's true. It really is true.
Yeah.
But that's boring also. So I'm going to stop saying that, because I'm conning myself right now. I'll say conning, but because I want to, into saying that what the Cavs are doing now is meaningful. Because right now, they are, I'm watching regularly again.
Awesome.
They're really fun to watch. They seem like a much better team than last year. And I think what really stands out about the Cavs, I don't know if you guys have talked about this the last 2 days. You probably have. I apologize. I didn't get a chance to watch too much. The fact that they have the best winning percentage on the road.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about that at all?
We talked in roundabout
ways. Remember how bad
about
they were on the road
terrible
last year?
They couldn't beat nobody on the road.
Last year on the road, they were probably the worst team in the league of the contending teams. This year, it's close. There's a couple of teams right near them.
They're 14-8.
But I think they have the best winning percentage of any team at home. They're 14 on the road, 14-8. That to me is a sign that this team is better than last year. Beyond the fact that they're deeper and have more good players.
If they continue to hit shots like that, like they did against the Kings,
bingo.
Y'all in trouble, because you look at Strus, he went off. He had a couple. He had 5-6 threes. Donovan Mitchell hits 2 to 3 threes regularly. We're not even talking about what Sam Merrill's doing. Evan Mobley hit 3 threes the other day. If they could continue to shoot the ball like this, they look the most comfortable I've seen in a long time. They also look like they got their roles down. It's looking like right now, we said that Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen can't play together. It's looking like they're getting better at doing that. You look at how they're playing. Darius Garland played better. And the thing about Darius Garland is, look at his shot attempts, only 7. If you would have looked at that last year or the year before, those shot attempts would be 19, 20 times a game.
And they might have games like that still, but you don't want to do that every night.
Right. So it looks they just look good.
Last year it felt like if Mitchell and Garland didn't score, they had no chance to win. And because they have all these other guys that can score and can shoot from outside, it feels like, as you said last week, there are different ways that they can win now.
Yeah, they're more versatile. I think there's a legitimate case to made the Cavs are the deepest team in the NBA. I haven't sorted through every roster off the top of my head. The Clippers are deep, the Celtics are deep, but if you include Tristan Thompson when he comes back from suspension and Craig Porter Jr., they legitimately can go 12 deep of guys who you feel relatively comfortable on the court at any given point of the game.
Yeah.
You're getting contributions off the bench, not the starters. LeVert, Niang, Wade, Okoro, Merrill, Porter Jr. when he plays. And then you bring Tristan Thompson back. What they lacked last season was depth.
Yeah.
They had no shooting and no depth. So if it wasn't Mitchell or Garland going superhero, it was we might struggle to score 105 points.
Right.
If they don't have 105 points by the end of the third quarter now, and that's a little bit of exaggeration, you're looking around like, what the hell's happened?
And plus, there's guys getting better. Like, if you watch Evan Mobley's game, I said, when did you start taking the ball from 17 feet finishing with the left hand? When was that part of the game plan? I saw him do it 2 or 3 times against Sabonis and guys, Trae Lyles last game. Also, Sam Merrill. They're now running sets for Sam. We notice Sam is coming off screens, multiple ones. Handoff, dribble down, handoff. He's coming off screens. Karis LeVert is coming into the game and being productive in shooting. But the guy that I think is taking the biggest step is Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro was now ready to shoot. When they send it to him, he's ready to fire it up. And if he misses, he's ready to shoot the next.
Let me ask you this, Bull, because we did this on the Ultimate Cavs show last night. If you missed it, go check it out. The link's on our YouTube page. I asked Jason, who's been the most surprising player in your mind on the Cavs? So kind of like we did with the Browns from where the season started to now. I went with Okoro for the exact reason. He was almost unplayable last year. You couldn't get anything for him. Now he's a guy I think has to be in your crunch time 5. Jason went with Sam Merrill. Who would you answer as that? As the most surprising guy. And there's also 2 other options I think you can make.
They're both great choices.
Case.
I would actually say Jarrett Allen because
he's another guy.
I thought he had reached his peak as a player. Whereas Mobley, you're like, okay, there's room to grow. I thought this is what Jarrett Allen is. He's a good player. He's fine. But that's what he is. There's no further room to grow. And he showed this year there is. That there was another level to his game. And I didn't think that existed. And especially after the way his season ended last year in such embarrassing fashion. And again, these guys all got to show it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But for him to play the way he did and basically, like he was the 4th guy on this team.
Last year, yeah.
But when they now they're continuing to play great with the other guys back. But when they got this run going of we're a different team, he was their number 2 guy. And he thrived and said, hey, I got to do a lot. And he did.
I don't know what
But he's not selfish in any way.
I don't know what JB did.
Yeah.
I don't know if he went and asked his dad. I don't know if he just stopped caring.
Yeah.
But he's literally growing as a coach in front of your eyes. Now, guess what? You got to see it in the playoffs because there's levels between regular season coaches, playoff coaches. But I think he's a lot more freer, a lot more open. Yeah. He's intentional at the guys he has in the game. And if you notice, they try to play a style based on who's on the floor. They don't just have guys running around doing all kind of other different type stuff. They look like they got a plan and they're moving and doing different things. So you got to give him credit too.
Have we ever seen it felt like JB early in the season was always one loss away from getting fired. Yes. And now he's got to be in the Coach of the Year conversation, no?
It's 100% accurate. Yeah. There's 4 guys, in my opinion, who are in the Coach of the Year conversation who all have legitimate cases.
Minnesota's coach?
Yeah, Finch, Dagnall in Oklahoma City, Ty Lue in L.A., and then JB here in Cleveland. Right. Are the 4 guys who all have legitimate cases. We don't have to dive necessarily deep into that today, but
Thibodeau? No, we won't put Thibodeau.
I think Thibodeau's the tier under that, but they had higher expectations coming in.
True.
But Thibodeau's also another candidate. To G's point about Bickerstaff and to the question I asked, what's the most surprising? My secondary answer, it's a bit of a cheat, was JV Bickerstaff. Because, last season after the playoffs, everyone's like, do you have to make a coaching change? Is this the right guy? Do the players like him? Are they buying in? You hear all these rumors of players being unhappy. The way he coaches didn't necessarily mesh with veteran guys. Okay, let's be patient. Let's see. It's one playoff series. The roster was severely limited last season. Coming to this season, 13-12, they're in 9th place. They lose their starters. This thing was on the cliff. This very easily could have teetered. And it could have teetered to rock bottom. And instead, he opened up the offensive playbook. I think it's Justin Rowan. If it wasn't you, Justin, if it was someone else, I apologize for attributing this wrongly. they looked through the 3-point attempts by each Cavs team each year JB's been the coach. Before this season, it's never been over 33. It's at 41.3 right now. He's open and adapted his offensive philosophy to fit the roster and the guys he has currently on the roster. He's allowed Donovan Mitchell to take over the playmaking role. Because there was a thing at time in the past where no Darius, well, we have to have Ty Jerome in there. We have to have CPJ. We have to have someone else.
They're so much better with him.
We're just going to let Donovan do it. And he has been so flexible. And it's kind of similar to Stefanski. You know, you lose Watson, you have to adapt. Well, he lost 2 of his key guys. He adapted. They're flourishing. And now the coaching job he's doing is we got to work those guys back into the system.
Right.
And so far, the early returns have been phenomenal.
And there's still going to be growing pains. And he's looking for a balance between what they did last year and what they were doing earlier, because you can't be exactly the same as what you were doing earlier with these guys, but you want to be somewhat close to it. And you complained a lot, deservedly so, that last year and early this season, the Cavs really didn't run an offense.
Right.
They're running an offense.
And now they've gone from they have no offensive plan to they have this intricate offensive plan that changes. And it's much more fun to watch. You know, for all the 3-pointers, one of the things I loved about basketball as a kid, one of the things that really attracted me to basketball, where I liked it most as a kid, was seeing the ball move and seeing players move without the ball. The standing around dribble is boring.
Yeah.
And so the style of basketball the Cavs are playing is fun. It's really fun.
And you know, another reason that it's actually fun is I got to give him a lot of credit, man. I got to give Donovan Mitchell a lot of credit because he's very talented. He can shoot the ball. He can get to the rim. All those physical things are great. But the thing that really, just stands out to me is how often do you see your best player play that hard? I mean, he plays hard every night.
He's the exception.
Look at his face when the Cavs get down by 2 or 3, or he misses a couple jumpers and he's like, "Come on, let's go." He hit one. He finally got one. The dude plays so hard, and I think that is so infectious because when you see him playing hard, your best player playing hard. You have no excuse. He's not taking no crap. He gives leadership and toughness and tenacity. And I'm going to just say it, man. I think JB finally got him to buy in. He said, listen, I don't know where you're going after this year or 2 years ago, but don't let what you're going to do 2 years ago waste your time today when you could do something special. And I think he really got him to buy in. And I think Donovan became the leader. And he said, you know what? We might be able to do this. When Harrison Burke says he looks at the line, he looks at the standings every night. I said, they believe.
And the Cavs, by the way, the Bucks lost last night, late. I think we were on the West Coast last night. They lost. So the Cavs are the 2 seed.
Yep.
Now, I don't know that we need to celebrate that because it's a long way to go.
That's crazy.
But it's still an accomplishment. Yeah. And the fact that Embiid is going to miss at least the rest of the regular season.
The Knicks.
I think they're out for a top 4 seed, Philadelphia most likely. Because unlike the Cavs, without Embiid, they've been crap.
Yeah, well, on the one hand, it's a great thing for the Cavs to potentially get a 2-3, which helps you avoid Boston in the second round. On the other hand, if Embiid comes back, the Cavs get the 3 seed, Philly could be the 6 seed. Then you got to face Embiid in the first round, which is
that's true.
Pick your poison. But I would rather avoid Boston no matter what at the end of the day.
The Cavs can legitimately end up as a 2 or 3 seed.
And that's the best case
scenario.
There's
no doubt about it. Obviously, the Knicks are really good also, but they're dealing with injuries. They said the Brunson injury wasn't that serious, but they don't know.
He could miss a week and a half. Yeah.
Randall's been banged up.
He's out for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, so
Mitchell Robinson's out.
Right, so they're dealing. The Cavs are getting healthy.
Yep.
And every other now, there's still a lot of time. You got 2 months till the playoffs start, but hopefully the Cavs will stay healthy here.
I do think, and obviously the goal is to get the 1 seed, but getting the 2 seed would be monumental for Cleveland. Then you get to play.
How far behind Boston are they? Like 4 games?
5, I think 5.
Yeah,
did Boston win or lose last night? I'm not sure.
Last time it was 5. I
think it's 5 last time I checked.
They're not going to catch Boston.
If they can get the 2 seed and end up playing one of the play-in teams, and theoretically speaking, that should avoid Philly. And then you avoid Boston until the second round, or until the conference finals.
And then you'd have home. In
theory,
you'd have home court
for 2 rounds.
Milwaukee in the second round.
And we talk about regular season games mattering, not mattering. And Bull, I do agree in your big picture point. That the regular season's just tune up to get you ready for the postseason.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a legitimate difference in the Cavs' chances to make a deep run in the postseason, being the 2 seed, having multiple rounds at home at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, which is as good a basketball environment as there is in the NBA. as opposed to having to climb through the 4 or 5 round.
No doubt.
Or something else.
We
like these games do matter. Maybe not in the big picture as individually, but these games do matter.
They matter
seeding,
for that, especially
makes
for a team. They matter more for a team like the Cavs that has no playoff credibility at this point.
Yes. Bull said it. You know, look at the win-loss record on the road. You look at the fact that they won a bunch of these games and they clawed themselves from the 6 seed up to the 2 seed while Mobley and Garland were hurt.
The 9 seed. Don't sell them short. 9 seed to the 2 seed.
At one point, yeah.
At one point, we was like, yeah, you about to be out of here. But I will say this. It's a different team. Like, if you watching, if you still mad about mad about what's going on out there that happened last year, guess what? It's a different team now. Like, you might want to get on board because I think they're going to be doing something. Earl, what you got, man?
You know, I see a lot of parallels between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Browns. Boy, you pointed this out that the last year's Cleveland Browns team you thought was top heavy. They didn't have the depth necessary to make a legit run. And if you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers last year, it was the same thing. We lacked shooting. We didn't have depth. If Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell wasn't on, then we wasn't really doing much. And so I got to give kudos to J.B. Bickerstaff as well because I was one of the people who wanted him fired. You know, you was forced into a new style of play based off injury. But when you got your guys healthy, instead of going back to what you knew, you stuck with what's going well, and you're trying to integrate those guys that was hurt back into the system now. We know J.B. Bickerstaff is an old-school coach. He likes to play a lot of bigs. He likes guys to play defense. And in today's NBA, you can't necessarily always play that way. So kudos to him for not being stubborn. Like, you seen what was going on, and you made the necessary adjustment to get this team where they are now. So if he damn sure is a head coach of the year candidate. And he went from a man that might be fired to a dude that's looking at an extension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when Milwaukee came to Cleveland 2 or 3 weeks ago, before Mobley and Garland came back, when the Cavs beat them on national TV, remember that game they won by like 40? Mm-hmm. Giannis didn't play?
Yep.
Jason and I were at the game when we were talking to JB post-game at the post-game presser, and Jason asked him, Darius is supposed to come back next week. Evan's coming back on Monday. Are you going to integrate them into what you're doing now, or are you going to kind of go back to where you were before? And JB looked at Jason, and Jason wrote about this. This isn't like groundbreaking, but he looked and he goes, what's working now is working.
Yeah, right.
Like, we're not going to isolate those guys and not bring them back in.
It's not exactly the same, but it's closer to what they were doing.
They have to fit into kind of what we're doing now as opposed to going back, because this is the best version of Cleveland Cavaliers basketball this season. And through Mobley's played, 5 games now? Garland's played 4. Mm-hmm. I think that they're 4-0, 5-0, whatever it is.
Yep.
The last loss was to Milwaukee. You see Mobley at 3 threes in the game. He's binding. Garland's still getting his legs under him. He's still trying to figure out. I'm confident that'll come through, but JB has not reverted to the
which is great,
baseline,
which is what we all wanted.
And they're trying to find that middle ground, which is exactly what I think he should have done. And it's going to continue, at least theoretically speaking, continue to get better as these guys play more and more and more together.
And expectations have now changed, right? Like, I feel like last year, if they had beaten the Knicks, who did the Knicks lose to in the next round? I can't remember.
The Knicks lost to Miami in the next round.
Okay. I feel like last year, if they had beaten the Knicks and then lost to Miami, we would have all been okay with that.
Thrilled.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm like, I want to see the Cavs win 2 rounds. I'm going to be disappointed if they don't win 2 rounds. Now, maybe that's unfair. I don't know.
Well, we'll see how they're playing later in the season.
Sure, but like, right now the expectations are through the roof. I just had a thought. I was like, could this be the best Cavs team? Not including best non-LeBron Cavs team ever? Could it end up being better than those Mark Price, Doherty? Well, those teams never made a run in the playoffs, really. So if this team does, it's possible.
They got the shooting is crazy. The shooting is a thing. If they can continue to shoot like that, everything is an open game because you got a closer. You got guys that can be bigs that are erasers. They got guys that are defensive specialists like a Okoro. Yeah. You have everything you need. You got the 6-man guy coming off the bench of Karis LeVert. You got everything that you need that if you had to go into a series, you would say it's just going to come down to them missing or making. Right. And I'll take that.
And last thing to G's point, if they make shots like this, they can win the title. If they shoot like they did against Sacramento on Monday, 56% from 3, which is unrealistic to think that will continue game in, game out. But over the last 2 weeks, last 8 games, this is just off the bench. Dean Wade shooting 51% from 3 over his last 8 games. Okoro shooting 47%. Sam Merrill shooting 46%. You get contributions off the bench like that, on top of what Donovan Mitchell's giving you, on top of what Jarrett Allen's giving you, what you're getting from DG, Mobley, Strus, sky's the limit.
And the Okoro one really stands out. We're going to get to more of that in a second. First, Earl's got to read for us. Go ahead, Earl.